Am I visible?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Hi, Vanya. Again, thank you so much for volunteering the activity. Yeah, it's a lot of strength. So thank you so much. So let's start. And first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sarabjit Situ. I am working as a medical writing manager, and today I will be taking your interview, right, for a medical writing role. So let's start. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Infantizar Usmani, and I'm a final year B.Pharm student from State College of Pharmacy in Mumbai, Jogeshwari West.
Hmm.
I I have a a 1 month experience of working at a production unit in Disney Biotech, which is in Vasai, and that's all the experience that I have get as a professional in my career.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I My hobbies are I like to read a lot and I also sometimes write diary entries so that I can improve my writing skills and also my communication skills.
Okay. Very, very well, Ifa. So you write, you said you like writing. What do you write?
Uh, like for example, my I used to like write means I still do sometimes diary entries means I used to make a note of what I did in the day, what was productive, what I did was productive, and how could I make myself more productive and what I am doing, where I am based means like I am sometimes procrastinating in something. So I used to write all those things so that I can improve myself and make myself
All right.
better.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you sharing with us. And if I ask you that, what is the do just let me reframe this way. That in case that you have some difficult situation in your life, how you take on that the situation which is really difficult, which is giving you stress, then how you try to handle that.
If it is some difficult situation and I don't know what to do, then obviously I'm going to take advice from my seniors, from teachers at college, or like seniors at college, or sometimes my parents also, to so that at least they can guide me in what I can do at that moment to make the problem look less difficult to me, and advise on how I can solve it. So that means at least I can feel that yes, I should do this, or I should means like from if I ask from different places I will get a lot of different opinions. I can choose what is good for me and what I can do better so that I can improve myself and I could solve my problems.
All right, all right. So, what is your strength then? So you said that you go to your parents, seniors, or in case like how to handle that. What is your strength as a person, as Ifa? What is your strength?
My strength, I don't, if I have any doubts, and I don't hesitate that if I should ask for it, I go and ask if I am facing any problems. So that, and I'm a curious person. Like there is something that I feel this is something new to me, then I would want to know more about it. So I would do my own research on those things.
Or
And also I am very much at times I am very much I can say this, I am punctual person. I like my things to be done on time.
hmm. Do you use AI in your life? If
Yes, I'm a lot of times.
like how?
Nowadays I'm in a final year, so we are having a project ongoing. So for that reasons, like there are a lot of documents required for us to maybe made, like we have to submit some documents regarding how the process is going on and what are the plans for our project. So at that time, we take help from AI tools like there are Chat GPT, there is Gemini also. So we take help from that to know exactly the format of how we should write and what we should add in those documents.
Mhm. Could you talk about that? Is so you said that that you while working on your college assignment, preparing different documents, you are using AI tools. So then how you validate the information that which you are getting from ChatGPT or other open AI sources? Do you validate it? And if yes, how you validate that information?
Usually, like if we get some new thing, we use some new, get some information from those AI tools. We usually show it to our guide so that she could tell if these things, like in a project, we are having a guide teacher, so we would show those to her so that she could validate, or she could say that yes, this can be returned and this cannot be returned. And she would also provide us some sources of some other AI tools which we are not aware of, which she usually uses, so that we can take more help from them too. So yes, that's how. And sometimes we would also we would use Google also to make sure that if results are matching, or if the results are different, or those things.
Okay, 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 very well. And then, could you please tell me the importance of animal studies clinical trial?
Animal studies are important in clinical trials because uh, the first thing, when we do animal testing, we can get a basic idea about how the drug can work in humans, or it might work in humans, or the effects that it will show. It also helps us in monitoring the adverse effects that might come with the drug when we do it in animal studies, so that we could minimize those side effects before we can use them on human volunteers.
Okay, okay. Any specific that we test in animal study? Any specific thing that specific information we try to get from animal study before we start our start human study? Anything you would like to?
From animal studies, first thing we are first the safety of the drug in animal studies, how the drug is affecting the animals and how it is working on them. So
Mhm.
that is checked first, and the efficacy, obviously the efficacy of how much the dose is required in a in an average animal that we are choosing for the study. For example, albino rats, if we are using, so how much, like exactly how much dose it is required in those rats, then according to that we can calculate how much it can be required in humans. And if the drug is if the efficacy of the drug is good on animals, then how good it is, and how much is the efficacy of the drug, so that we can further use it in the human
No
trials.
problem. Okay. So, uh, could you please let me know that what is the phase two clinical trials?
Phase 2 clinical trials are used for the efficacy, for checking the efficacy of any new drug, and to determine the dose of a drug. It is also called as exploratory phase. That's because of because it can because we also determine the dose of the dosage, and the safety dose of the drug that is to be used.
And how multicentric trials are different from single center?
Multicentric trials are done in large means the people for in phase 2 there are usually 100 to 300 people, but in multicentric trials there are a larger number of almost 1000 to 3000 people, and it is done on a large basis, at different centers, means different population. We gather samples from different populations, and the drugs are tested on them to know the effects it has on different type of population.
Mhm. Suppose if you are working on informed consent, right,
Hmm?
as a medical. So you are working on informed consent form as a medical record.
Yeah.
And then, what are the points that you would like to remind yourself that before start writing informed consent form, how it is different from your other documents like a protocol, safety narrative, how it is different?
Informed consent form is done has to be done from a patient's perspective. I have to make sure that I don't miss any points that benefits the patient, and that they are well informed about the trials that are to be done, and the medicines or the drug that is to be given to them. If the information that are available, it has to be clear and in a language that can be easily understood by the patients, so that so that they know exactly what is the drug is all about and what the clinical trial is all about before they sign the informed consent form. And also the benefits should be good enough so that some the risk of adverse effects can be yeah, means, can be put so the means the benefits has to be good enough so that they can feel that yes they should they should go for the trials.
Okay, okay, no problem. So another thing is that we know that ICH is the guiding principles, right? So for a medical writing or a clinical research, could you please let me know all the 13 principles of GCP?
Um, First thing, the consent is of a patient is necessary. So means the consent of the patient before the clinical trials are necessary. Then confidentiality is also necessary about the subjects and and also ethical guidelines have to be followed during the clinical trials. Also, okay, clinical trials and just a second. And the trials has to be performed by a qualified individual who is also experienced in the field, and they also uh,
Quality,
um,
GMP, and qualified staff, ethical, right
yes,
safety well-being of the subjects, right?
yes,
Ethics committee. So, and data management systems. So
yes.
13 principles are non-negotiable, even
Okay.
when you are going for as an experienced person. So you can look later. In medical writing, just on a lighter note, what is your favorite role? As a medical writer, what you really want to do?
I'm sorry, the voice was breaking, so I was unable to.
Yeah. So there are a number of job roles in a medical writing, like a quality control reviewer, medical writer, scientific writer. What is more interesting to you? What you want to be yourself? Like,
And since the interview is about informed consent for the patients as a medical writer, so obviously I'm more interested in that. That's why I'm applying for the interview.
okay, okay, very well. So when you're working on a medical writing document, what are the things that you keep in mind? Suppose you are working on a clinical study. So in which sentence you will be writing clinical study report?
My in clinical reports, I would be using scientific terminologies more as it is for the regulatory bodies and the
Mhm.
people the staff that are carrying out the clinical trial. So I will be using medical terminologies more so that to make to make sure the documents record are sorry the documents have everything that is required in the exact way that it should is that is should be to be there, and also the way from if the trials are carrying out, then the exact when the trials are carried out, the scientific words are usually used, so I would use those exact words in those documents also. But if I
Okay. So when you write a clinical study report, at what
sorry.
stage you write a clinical study report? In a clinical trial, once the clinical trial is going on. As you know, the protocol we write before the start of a clinical trial. When you write clinical study report.
The clinical study reports are means after before clinical trials we give some report for to the IND for the approval process, and then after means when all the phase one, phase two, phase three studies are going on, we keep on documenting the findings, and then we write a report to submit it to the NDA and other regulatory bodies for the purpose of approval, and also for the documentation so that the records are there of the clinical trials.
So you are saying that report is written once after phase one, two, three, right? Like that.
Yes, I mean the report is going on. Means all the new findings has to be written throughout the phases of in the report.
Mhm. And what are the key sections in clinical study report? Do you remember different sections of clinical study report?
Now the information of the drug that we are currently researching, the investigators and the sponsors information is to be there. The background means the information on the drug obviously means the more in-depth information about the drug, about the molecule that is used and how it is supposed to be used. Then
Okay, and what are the different sections of a protocol?
in protocol, the first is the background about the about which the protocol has to be written, then a rationale of the process about the clinical trials that are to be done, and
Mhm.
then an exclusion criteria. There should be the eligibility criteria. Then the
Study design.
yes, study design has to be means the procedure about the of the protocols and the adverse effects or adverse events that might take place during the during the research purpose.
Mhm. Where you see yourself after 5 years in a medical writing?
After 5 years, I see myself as a more experienced person in the field of medical writing, and also I have learned a lot. Have learned a lot of new things so that I can share my knowledge with my juniors who are about to come in the field of medical writing. Means I wish means in 5 years I see myself at that level where I am experienced and I can help from my experience to all the other juniors who are going to come after me, so that, and share the knowledge that I have acquired with them so that they can use it and benefit, they can also benefit from it.
All right. All right. So, have you heard about safety narrative?
Yes.
So, could you please tell me what is safety narrative?
Safety narratives are a short and precise summary of all of a clinical trial or of a clinical trials that are done, and of a patient or of a patient's condition that may happen before or after the trials are conducted.
Mhm. So, safety narrative? No, 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 dear. So, could you please tell me what is SAE, serious adverse event?
Yes, sir.
Serious adverse event.
Serious adverse events are those events that might be life threatening life threatening effect events that may take place during from a medication, and the effect. Yes,
What is the
sorry.
definition of serious adverse event?
Definition. A serious adverse events are the events that may take place during our clinical trials, which may be life threatening or may be fatal to the subject.
And then
Uh,
three more. What else is the definition? Threatening. death. What else? Prolonged hospitalization, congenital. You have to be very smart here. And last question for you then. Then what is the difference between adverse event and adverse drug reaction?
Adverse event is something that may take place during the clinical trials. It may not necessarily be related to the drug that is being administered in the patient. And adverse drug reaction is something that take place in the patient due to the drug. It may be a side effect from the drug, adverse reaction, or maybe some.
Untoward medical occurrence where it can be related to drug, right? So, all right, that's all from my side, Ifa. Anything you would like to ask me?
Ma'am, this is something that when you were taking the previous one, I when you were giving her the feedback, this question has been going on in my mind all for a long time. It might
Yeah, yeah,
not be completely related to the medical writing, but I have to ask.
go ahead, go ahead.
You said that when we are introducing ourselves, we have to give the information about the experience that we have gained and the experience that we have in
Hmm.
fields. But when I was giving in means there was one mock interview practice going on in my college too. What they said is that you don't need to say so much. You just have to give your family background and your hobbies and from where you study and all. That is enough because the rest is written in your resume.
No, dear. See, your introduction is either it can make it or break it. No? So just try to understand with the logic. Suppose you are going for an interview. Now tell me what they wanted to see in you. They simply wanted to see in you is that are you the right fit for this role? Can you do this job? That's it. Correct? Now just suppose in our home maid comes in, right? And suppose I have hired a cook. If she directly comes in and she is talking about her cooking only, that I can make this thing better, that thing better, that will impress me. Or if she will talking about like her kids, her family, husband, what will impress me? Just tell me. What
Her
just her cooking skill, definitely, because that's what for I'm hiring her. So you have initially you can give your introduction like yeah I belong to this place, right? And then you have to bring their focus on your achievement, on your rewards, on the skills which you are going to help them, right? Because see example, when I currently I'm a transparency in a transparency function. When I gone there for an interview, I didn't spoke much about my WH experience because there I was more in operation. I spoke more about my transparency experience in my introduction only, right? So because you only have to highlight that power is with you, that there are two ways. One is active way, one is passive way. I am a more in an active way. Your college is suggesting you are a passive way that you tell them little bit. Rest they ask you the question and you will be answering. Correct? That is a kind of a passive. But active way that power is with me. Why not? I should be highlighting that this is my achievement. This is my achievement. This is how I can help you. You know. So that's the way to handle it. So I my always approach is that you should follow active approach. You should highlight your skills so that you can sell it better. Now, even when you're going to some shop, there's sometimes you don't think so that we don't want to buy, but we bought. That happens. Like there are sometimes we go to some mall or a shopping center or somewhere. Our intention was not to shop, but still someone explained so well that we said, let's buy, let's buy. You know, it's like that. Or if shopkeeper would have like, okay, let's display it. You want to buy, it's your wish. If you don't want to buy, it's your wish. Right? So that I believe more in an active approach rather than a passive or a blanket approach. So okay, Ifa. So can we start with our feedback?
Ma'am, one more question I have
Yeah.
to ask.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I am a fresher, means like right now I have no experience, not much experience when it comes to medical writing. But So at that time I want to know what they would see more in the profile, if I mean exactly what I
So,
should do.
so in your introduction, you would have told them that I have done a medical writing course. At least that you can mention where, and you would have said that I in that course I have learned about protocol, key medical writing document. At least that you can do, and you must have got some reward, some achievement that you can tell. You must have some strength that you can talk about. So focus. Tell them how passionate you are for this job, right? How that how passion that will reflect is when you are talking about it. When they are seeing you are already making an active effort, right? So you may say that I go to LinkedIn, I keep on seeing medical writers profile. I am going to this Google and keep on reading about different things about a medical writing, things that you know, right? Okay. Anything else?
No, no, ma'am, thank you.
Welcome, welcome. So I'll start with your introduction. Introduction. What was missing is that. Uh, so let me start in up with your positive side. You're a confident person. That's a good thing. You have that confidence and spunkness in you. That is very good thing. Only thing is that when you are introducing, you have to talk about your rewards and achievements. Like when we are going to buy a car, they are always telling our car is best.
Yes.
Oh, this can run these mileage, this is its efficiency, blah blah. How it is different from others, everything. It may be truth, it may be lie, but they keep on talking. Right? You should talk about your any major award you have won, any achievement that you have academically, because see, never ever see that you don't have experience. You have invested 13, 14 years of your life, young life, in this academics. It is experience. You may have joined college some activity. It may be a project writing report or maybe other things. They talk about it. Maybe you have hosted some event, something. You maybe participated in some sport. Correct. So that, and you mentioned one thing you have done it good is that you mentioned that as a hobby reading and all that, because that is linked to medical writing, right? So when I asked you that AI tool that for a validation, you said our teacher faculty they validate. No, you could have said by yourself that I try to find the actual article. I validate the information, because this is the major thing. We can use AI, but the validation is in our hand. The same thing why I'm asking AI question on to every student is because organizations are using it. And they are also saying that you have to validate it. Correct? So validation is with you. So there was for animal studies, when I asked question, you would have said that this is first time they are testing drug in any biological model. Correct? You missed it. Not you even not mentioned PKPD. You are pharma student, right? So you can't miss it.
Okay.
These things are non. So what I saw you is that you have to focus on technical. Mm.
Huh?
So on your technical part, like 13 principle, you almost went blank.
Hmm.
Correct. So
I
13
did.
principles they will be always asked. There might be a revision this year, but you have to know these things. And even for a protocol, correct? Answer was not correct. For CSR, the answer was not correct. It is not written for phase one, two, three at once. It is written for every study. Once the study is complete, you write clinical study report.
Hmm.
Hmm? So, but you were not able to handle this, right?
Yes.
So read. And we have studied it two, three times we have studied.
Yes.
And it is always written in a past. So you have to pick up on the basic.
Yes.
And another thing is Hmm. When I asked even about to you about different phases of a clinical trial, you were not very clear,
Mm.
right? So the idea is that you have to give a right information and the correct information. You are coming as a strong person. Even communication is also good. But I'll say that prepare yourself before going for any interview. And second thing is the last thing. Your lighting was not right here when you are facing the this camera. It was going on and off. It was distracting you. It was giving more trouble to you. I have seen that you were continuously fixing it. So
Mm.
test it before your interview.
Mm.
Mm. And because it can disturb you. And there was a little background noise as well. Maybe it's of mic, maybe of its some
Yeah.
other thing. So these are the things that you have to. But technical is non-negotiable. All the best. Yeah. Now promise me you will prepare better for your actual interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. I wanted to see exactly what my weaknesses would be when I would go for an interview. So yes,
Yes.
very useful. Thank you, ma'am, for highlighting them. Otherwise, this
Very welcome. As don't take it in a negative way because this is just for a learning, right? Just for a learning.
this was
So
my
yeah, because in actual interview, people even not be giving you feedback. You won't be knowing it.
yes.
Correct? So here is a chance that we are at least able to know that where we are lacking. Otherwise, you have a great potential. And now we can take up the question from all the students who saw what they noted. Students now it's open for everyone. You have seen two interviews, and initial round mostly happen for half an hour only, and you can also share your feedbacks that what you liked in this interview, what you don't, what you didn't like it, and if you are having some question related to interview, you go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Yes,
Uh,
please.
Ma'am, myself Dua, ma'am. Dua Sheikh.
Hi, Dua.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in the first interview, towards the end, as an interviewer, you asked the candidate to ask the questions, and she asked was she wanted to know the ongoing projects, and you gave her the feedback that as a candidate, we should not tell them to tell what the ongoing projects are in their company.
No, 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 no. You missed it. She asked me what are the ongoing projects. That's totally fine. And then
Mm.
second, she asked is second part where I will be the best fit. So you can always ask what are their ongoing project. You can always ask, but I am saying that you should not
Mm.
be asking where you are the best fit because you're already trying to tell them I am the best fit, but you can't
Mm.
ask them. That's I was
Okay,
telling her. You can
okay, ma'am.
definitely ask her. As I told her, as we have multiple ongoing studies. So,
Mhm. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, and the other thing, for source document of protocol, investigator brochure, yes, ma'am. But I just wanted to ask if in that answer we can or cannot include proof of concept.
yes, yes, you can. I was giving her
Okay.
clue. I was just at least if you don't know proof of concept, because that is little advanced, right?
Mm, yes,
If
ma'am.
you tell that answer, fantastic. But IV, you should be mentioning it, right?
Okay, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
that is correct. That is correct.
Ma'am, and this one, ma'am. I guess, if you asked, what will be your favorite or preferred role in medical writing?
Hmm.
So, ma'am, nowadays, there's a hiring season, and I've seen that for medical writers, they only put as medical writers or medical writer one. In vigilance, if they're hiring, then they put as safety narrative writer or safety writer, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
So, how can we tell them ki what will be my
It's,
favorite role, or which,
it's,
like, I don't
it's
understand that.
Yeah, it's more out on a question on you that are you really wanted to apply for a medical writing? It's a little tricky question. So you simply say that you can handle it like this that I simply love writing. And then any role which is starting with a writing project, That is my favorite. So that is a, it is testing you that can you handle that. It's not related to designation or nothing like that. So there is a
Okay.
one question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's all, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. I hope this mock interview is useful for you guys. It may have given little idea to you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, another thing I just it came to my mind about the CSR, ma'am, clinical study report. Ma'am, clinical study report are like I thought that they're written after each phase of the clinical study. Is it not?
Yes, that's what
It
I
is.
corrected her.
Okay. Okay,
In
ma'am.
fact, in fact, the correct answer you should be mentioning after each study. Because if
Oh,
you've seen that there are sometimes phase A as well, phase B as well. You have
yes,
seen,
ma'am.
you
Yes.
must have seen. So clinical study report is you write after each study.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm?
Okay, ma'am. That's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. There is one question that if we go blank in your interview, then how you can deal with it? You can simply, that's why if the interview is online, keep a water along with you. And you can use that as a to sip of water. Excuse me, can you give me a second? I wanted to have a water. No problem. Hmm? Don't show stress on your face. Try to keep a smile. Hmm? Try on smiling. So no problem. Even when you are going on a actual interview, if it is a face to face, then there also you can take a little pause. No problem. No one is going to judge you. That's okay. Thank you, Sakshi, if it is helpful. In actual interview, also there might be a water or something like that. Even if sometime interview is quite long, you can ask for a break as well. No one is going to judge you. Okay. Any further questions?
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Like I have a question. Like you mentioned, CSR is written after every phases, right? So my question is like, it is like written immediate after the completion of the each phase, or the overall once the oral study is completed.
Okay, so first of all, I will give you guys all the homework again, that you go through or at least informed consent, a protocol, and clinical study recording once again. That is your homework from today's. Coming to your question, dear, it is written for each study. First of all, do not say phase. It is written for each study. For second thing is the movement. There is
Yeah.
one milestone in the study that is known as a analysis done. Hmm?
Okay.
So
Mhm.
once the data is collected, your last patient data is collected. You can say in this way that within the data for the last patient is collected and the SAS programming team has done their analysis, you can start writing a clinical study report.
Okay.
So once the data for last patient collection is over and a SAS analysis is done, you can start writing your clinical study report. But go through your that recordings once again because I can see there are a lot of gaps, understanding gaps.
Okay. Sure, ma'am. And one more question is like in the interview, like the interviewer if asked like, can you tell me like challenges which you have come across your life? So this should be given like professional front or like personal front, considering professional front or the
It should be
if you're
better
working.
professional. It should be better
Yeah.
professional. Try. It should show your strength that you will be able to handle difficult situation.
Correct. Okay, ma'am. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Myself, Dr. Sandesh Bhagat, and currently, ma'am, I am working as an assistant professor in pharmacy college, and I want
All
to make a switch in my career, and I want to enter into the field of pharmacovigilance. So, I wanted to ask that in pharmacovigilance, what is the main focus area that I should focus on, or is there any extra I would like means to enter into this field.
So, Siddesh, right? You wanted to make to a PV. I can the E2 guidelines. The E2 guidelines are just for pharmacovigilance only.
Okay.
That you can focus. Second thing is, I'll say that uh, as of now you are working in academics. I'll say that any job, if it is a medical writing, it may be of any field of a clinical research, you should apply, because once you have experience it is a lot easier for you to go into PV or any special field. If it is not directly, you are not getting PV as a job, first job. If you are getting a medical writing, or even if you are getting a operation, take it. Then it will be lot easier for you to make it to PV, because otherwise your waiting time will be lot long. And that is my suggestion to everyone, because people change their career multiple times once they are in this field. I have changed myself for 3 times. I started with operation, then medical writing, then I'm now further in a niche of a medical writing, which is a clinical trial transparency. So this is my third switch. I may make one, two more before retiring, right? So my that is my like a advice to you, or a request. But E2 guidelines are the must to know for a PV.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. That I already answered. As a fresher, you should talk about your qualification. You should be talking about your any award, achievement, any project work in your college, any assignment that you have done, any sport activity that you have done, which is projecting you as a strong person that you can um, tell in your introduction. I think we will be having one. Thank you so much. I think there will be one or two more interviews to go. I think Dr. Jeet will also be taking, but I'm not sure. But any student who is more interested in a mock interview, I'm thinking to make a YouTube video for myself only. If you want to come up for that, you can ping me over a LinkedIn. I'll I can do with you as well. Like for a CRC role or CRA role, you can ping me on my LinkedIn. Okay, all right. All right, everyone, happy Sunday. But at the basic of technical skill for any domain in pharmacy. Basic is your ICH, non-negotiable. ICH and fundamental of a clinical research. I think next Sunday we have a session on soft skills. So we will go, try to attend that session. So anyone else? More question? Next mock interview, if there is any, Samriddhi is the best person to tell you. She's the one who plans these things. Samriddhi or Dr. Jeet, they are the best one to tell you. They are the planners. Okay, Dua will like to participate. Or Dua, you can ping me over a LinkedIn if you know, if you know.
I think, ma'am, we can have one more of mock interview session next week, maybe.
I guess
Just like,
Dr. Jeet has to take, right?
yes, ma'am. We'll
Yes.
discuss that. I'm not sure. I'll ask.
Yeah, I told them Dr. G is the planner. I am not.